Hi everyone, welcome to Creative Tech Fridays. I'm Matthew.
And I'm Thomas, and we're from Yarra Libraries. Today we're going to show you sampling with the Teenage Engineering Pocket Operator K.O.
This is the device here. It's a really intuitive and approachable way to make music using samples. You can record via auxiliary cable or you can record using the little mic up here. It has a 16-note sequencer, so you can put together really cool sounds, chop them up and do really creative things. We have a whole set of these at Yarra Libraries, and when we reopen, we'd love to see you come in and have a play.
Awesome, yeah. I'm going to record some samples from my day, Matthew, and some from Bargoonga, Nganjin, North Fitzroy Library too. And I'll send them your way. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with them. Time to get up. Better record some stuff for Matthew. I'm here at Bargoonga, Nganjin, North Fitzroy Library. I'm going to record some samples onto this Zoom for my colleague Matthew to load in to the Teenage Engineering Pocket Operator.
Well installed.
Killing in the name of...
This is the Pocket Operator K.O, otherwise known as the P.O33. So this is a micro sampler, and this will take an audio from any source and it will treat it in two different ways. There's melodic samples and there's drum samples. So with a melodic sample, any note that you record, it'll spread it across these 16 buttons and change its pitch each time. So it's like playing a keyboard or a piano, and I'll show you an example of that here. This is a really rudimentary sampler, and like the Pocket Operator in melodic mode, anything you record up in this little speaker here will just be spread out across these notes. So let me give you an example. I'm going to make a really strange sound. Beep. There we are. So there it is. So that's how that works. The Pocket Operator essentially does the same thing. So something the Pocket Operator has in common with that sampler I showed you is this little mic here. So you can actually record sounds just via the inbuilt mic. You can walk around the house and record the piano and hit your pots and pans, etc. But the way I'm doing it is using the auxiliary input here and just into the device. The auxiliary is good because you can play recordings, you can play YouTube videos, you can plug it into your record player and get samples that way. So the next sampling option is the drum slots here. So anything you record into one of these slots, it'll take that audio and split it into 16 little pieces. So it's like you get these slices that you can then turn into a drum kit. So we're going to do that right now actually. So before we get any of Thomas's samples in, we're going to create a little drum kit just to give us something to jam over. So I have this free app here. This is an app from Korg, and there's a little drum kit in there. We're going to hit record and we're going to choose one of the drum slots. And there they go. So they're all in there now. So when we play them back, so you see it gets some of them on some of the buttons and not on all of them, but that's all we need. So we're in performance mode here. So when we press the right button, we go from edit mode to performance mode. So in performance mode, we can have a play around here and find which notes we have, or find which sounds we have on each button. And then once we select one, so the last one we press, that's the kick drum there, we press the right button, go into edit mode, and now we can put them over this 16 note step sequencer. So if we press play, okay, we're going to stop it. We're going to go to performance mode again. We're going to choose this clap sound here. So we're going to go to right mode and we're going to put it on the second and fourth beats there. So we're just going to use that as a skeleton to start with, and we're going to build our pattern from there. So now I'm going to input some of Thomas's samples into the Pocket Operator. So the first thing I did is I took some of the more percussive samples Thomas recorded and isolated individual hits in those and put them together using Audacity into one audio file. The reason for doing that is, as we saw, is in one of these individual slots you can record multiple drum sounds. It would be a waste if I were to record an individual drum sound on 3 or 4 different slots. So let's just record this in now and we can have a listen. So I'm hitting record, choosing pattern 6. There we go. So next we're going to add some of Thomas's guitar playing into here. So we're going to use the exact same technique. So let's record that in now. There we go. It's pretty crunchy, but that's okay. It's something to work with. And let's have a listen. Pretty cool. So next I'm going to add some melodic sound. So first we're going to use the sound of our printer from the library at North Fitzroy. So let's add that into the melodic track and I'll show you how that works. So we're going to hit record. There it is. Aha, so there we go. Now we've got our melodic pattern. We're going to do that again with a different sound here. Let's have a look. We're going to use a different kind of beep and we're going to record that to number 2. There we go. All right, so we've got a few elements together. Now we're going to start making patterns and see if we can get something musical happening with these. So now we're up to my favorite part of the process. We've put Thomas's samples into the Pocket Operator and we're going to try and make some music. There's some pretty wild samples in here, so let's see what we can come up with. So we have this already and I want to add some of the guitar parts. So we're going to go to sound, select the guitar. Now you can put them in using the patterns here, but you can also hold down, if we put it into performance mode and hold down right and you can just play it in. Cool. Okay, now we're going to add some more of the percussion elements here. So we have this. Now let's go to our sound here, choose this one. And we might put that on, let's have a look. There we go. Now we're going to choose this little squeaky sound. Sort of make it a bit more subtle. And we're going to write it in. I'm going to put it in. There we go. So there's a little pattern. Now we're going to add some melodic elements as well. So let's go up to our sounds up here. Let's go the first one. And we're just going to stop it for a second. Go to performance mode. Yep, there we go. Got a little pattern there. So we're going to play that one in, or we're going to try to play that one in. Alright, let's try it. Now something the Pocket Operator does quite well is cutting up vocals. So we have this little mic up here, and if you sing into it, you can get it to split your vocals across the 16 notes. Now the benefit of that is if you're not a very good singer like myself, you can find the slices of your vocals that sound good and just avoid the ones that don't sound very good. Now I'm going to thoroughly embarrass myself now and attempt to sing. So wish me luck. I'm just going to get familiar with the pattern. Okay, so now I'm going to record something onto step 10. La, 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 la. All right, how was that? Let's see how it sounds. That's interesting. So let's hit play, and now we're going to press right and see if we can get a pattern in that sounds cool. There we go. That's cool. Okay, so now we have a pattern that we like. The next thing we want to do is take that pattern and put it in a different slot and then make some changes to it so we can start to do a bit of an arrangement. So let's start off with our initial pattern. Here it is here. If we press right and pattern, and we're going to save it to the second slot. So if we go to the first pattern, there it is. Go to the second pattern, there it is. Now we're going to, once we've got the second pattern selected, we're going to take some elements out so we can start to do a bit of an arrangement here. So let's see what we have. I might take out the beeping sounds, for instance. So if we go to sound and we find the beeping sound, press right, it'll show us where it's placed on the sort of 16-note grid, and we can just take them off. I'm going to take the other beep out as well, do the same thing, there it is. So we're sort of peeling it back. So now if we go to here, we have sort of a sense of progression, so we can start to build a track out of that. So the next thing I'm going to do is go and record some extra parts on the piano, and I have a little marimba at home. I'm going to run off and record some parts, and then I'm going to come back at the end and I'm going to have a whole arrangement prepared, and we'll go through the patterns and see what we can build from it. So I've gone and collected a bunch of sounds and I've created a bunch of patterns, and I'm ready to chain them all together and create an arrangement or a little track. The first thing I want to show you though is once we have a pattern going, there's effects in here. You can either play them live in performance mode, or you can record them in and it saves them, but I'll just show you. Now I'm going to do a little performance, and I'm going to incorporate changing patterns, and I'm going to incorporate using some effects. So wish me luck. So that was our Pocket Operator track. I hope you enjoyed that. If you like this video, please consider heading to the Yarra Libraries website and checking out our online What's On booklet. Our What's On guide has lots of online events, including those related to music production. Some of the events coming up will be things like an Ableton Live workshop with an Ableton Live certified trainer. You'll get the opportunity to record samples at home, much like Thomas did, and send them in, and he will show you the basics of audio manipulation on Ableton Live using the samples that you've created. We also have some making music for video game workshops and much, much more. We've got more creative tech videos coming up soon, including laser cutting a book display stand. So follow Yarra Libraries on social media and stay up to date. All right, see you soon.